I'd also like to thank Ms. Cecilia Kenny. While Matt has been the face of the Office of Environment, Health, Safety, and Security since its inception, we all know who gets the real job done in the background. And this event couldn't have happened, and Matt's career couldn't have blossomed in his role in EHSS, if it wasn't for the steadfast support of many of you from our organization. But first and foremost, thank you, Cecilia. And to all of us, and to all of you joining us here today, both physically here in the room, we have about 50 or 75 people maybe, and all of you on the screen virtually. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of this celebration. I recognize a lot of faces here in the Forrestal building, but there are still a lot of people that I don't know. I don't recognize right here, and I don't recognize on the video screen. And why is that important? Well, as I look around and I see family, I see DOE coworkers, I see friends. It's very telling that so many of you took the time to come here and join us. I think that's a huge testament to Matt, if you get right down to it, right? Matt's touched your lives in some way that you found it worth the effort to join us here, either again on the screen or here in the room. That's a testament to you, Matt. And as for me, I'm not going to make a lot of remarks. I'll say that without reservation, Matt has been the finest leader, mentor, friend, and coworker that I've had the opportunity to work with professionally. I could go on, but I'll get all mushy, and I don't want to do that. But I will close at least that part by saying I will miss your patience and your counsel and your sense of humor. It's been a journey, but thank you so much for what you've done for me in my career. And on behalf of the Office of Environment, Health, Safety, and Security, EHSS, for those of you who aren't quite used to the myriad of Department of Energy acronyms, I have the pleasure, and I'm honored to present to you the EHSS point. This is our most coveted award that we have here in our organization, in the EHSS. And this is a token, as we hope, an enduring reminder of the core values that you instilled in this organization. Matt, when he came in, he stood it up, and we established core values very early on. And they were the acronym that some of you may have heard: PRIDE, professionalism, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence. And Matt has not only stood these up as our core values for our organization, but Matt lives those every single day. And for that, we thank you. We will do our very best to maintain those core values and to be the organization that you envisioned that we could be. And now I'd like to turn the mic over briefly to the Department of Energy's Chief of Staff, Christopher Davis, who will be offering some remarks on behalf of Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm, who couldn't be here today while she was on travel. So I'll turn it over to you, Christopher.
I apologize that the Secretary and Deputy Secretary couldn't be here and that you're stuck with me. But on the other hand, maybe we get to have more fun this way. I'm going to start with a citation for an award that Matt is receiving. And for those of you who have read or heard or received these in the past, you know that there's a style of run-on sentences that this one will do it proud. But there's a lot to say, so I'm going to read that and then I'll say a few things. In recognition of over 41 years of dedicated and exemplary service to the government, to the citizens of the United States, with particular appreciation for your nationally and internationally recognized leadership to the Department of Energy, ensuring the department performed its mission safely and securely for the protection of workers, public, and the environment. During your career, You built an impeccable reputation promoting integrated safety management as the hallmark for how the department performs its work safely, and created and implemented a vision for strengthening safety culture across the enterprise, including establishing and chairing the Safety Culture Improvement Panel. Your efforts to promote and sponsor engagement with our international partners significantly improved their quality of life and has led to significantly greater understanding of the effects of radiation on humans. Your success in improving the security posture has also greatly strengthened our ability to address current and emerging national and international threats. Your exceptional professionalism, personal initiative, and dedication to duty reflect great credit upon yourself and the highest traditions of the Department of Energy. For your outstanding service to the Department of Energy and the nation, Mr. Matthew B. Mowry is awarded the Secretary of Energy Exceptional Service Award. So congratulations. I know everyone wants to hear from you, so I'll just be brief. I can just say that having served with Matt in 2 of the past 3 administrations, I know that he has held himself and the entire organization to the highest standards. But he's also led at important moments that exemplify one of my most cherished values, which is the drive to get stuff done. And stuff can be substituted for another word. Even in the face of challenges and just the inertia around us every day. From working with the DNFSB on our broad departments, safety, to kind of working with the Marshallese on initiatives that are important to them. Matt has pushed through the red tape when it requires it. And you know that, and your just highest level of excellence that you demand from your organization has been exemplary. Finally, on just a personal note from me and all the employees here at Forrestal, maybe even around the complex, it's been a challenging time to be in government for some, with the health threats of COVID and kind of unprecedented security threats here in our nation's capital. And I just want to thank you for keeping us safe and keeping us secure every day that we come to work. So I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you very much.
So we're going to have a few remarks from Matt, after which I would love to have folks take the mic, if you like. It's going to be an open mic after. Open mic here, as they say it. But honestly, I'll ask Matt to come up and offer some sage advice as he heads out the door. But more importantly, when Matt's done, please feel free if you have something that you would like to share. And I know our friends from the Defense Nuclear Facility Safety Board have some things they'd like to share, and so please take advantage of that opportunity. Again, it's informal. Help yourselves. God bless. Thanks.
All right, I had to write it down because, like Todd, I get mushy or I would forget somebody, and I didn't want to do that. So I do have a few minor comments. Sage advice. I do want to just make a couple of comments, mostly in the area of thank yous. But welcome everybody. I mean, there are lots of people here in the room, and I got lots of folks online. You know, we're living in a different world. I mean, holy cow. Who would have thought 3 years ago we could have a retirement ceremony with people joining online, you know, to participate in what we're going through. What a silver lining, really, for what we've been going through, and the trials and tribulations like Christopher mentioned a few moments ago. So I really want to thank all of you who have joined me here, both in person and online. So thank you very much. Special thanks to Todd. Special thanks again to Cecilia for putting this on. I know there were a lot of other people that were engaged in this. As long as we've been doing it, you'd think that we would have solved all the IT issues by now, but we still struggle periodically. So thank you very much for joining us. My first message really is simple. I mean, it's really just thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you for, as I mentioned, for those here in person. Thank you for all of you online. Very special thanks to my wife, Jan, my daughter, Kaylin, my son, Cameron, who surprised me last night. Those of you who don't know it, he left the Marine Corps a couple months ago and was trained to be an airline pilot up in Minnesota. So I was expecting him to be online. And last night he showed up and surprised me.
Move this up a little
A
bit.
little closer?
Yeah.
Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Start over, Matt.
As far as sage advice goes, I'm not so sure I'm gonna add that. And special thanks, I think my sister is also online, and Bridget, thanks for joining us all the way from Hawaii. So appreciate having her here with us today. I want to thank all my Naval Academy classmates from the great class of 1982. So our 4 years together at that school on the Severn, I affectionately call it Camp Tecumseh now, really had a major influence on shaping who I am. I want to thank all of you for taking that journey with me. Special thanks to Admiral Richardson for joining us today. Dewey's no stranger to John. He was the director of Naval Reactors before he went on to be our 31st Chief of Naval Operations. I've had a lot of role models in my life, people I want to emulate. I count John as one of those individuals. As great as John is, his best characteristic is his wife Dana. Thanks for joining us today. So, for all the Army folks that snuck in,
Where's the guard?
I have to add, go Navy, beat Army again, so put that in there for us. And I did want to say, yes, I know the Blue Angels are flying today, okay, for my Naval Academy friends. I told my grandkids they're flying for me. The 8-year-old granddaughter Valentina immediately threw the BS flag, right? 8-year-old, she's got that figured out. The 6-year-old, almost had him going there for a while, but he thought through it and realized, no, it's for the midshipmen. And for those of you who are going to attend that, thank you for joining me in this ceremony today. I really appreciate it. I know there's a large sacrifice for many of you, John included, who has a son who's a youngster at the Academy, John and Dana. So thank you very much for coming today. I really appreciate it. I want to thank the Naval Academy graduates who we sponsored as midshipmen. And we have a number of them actually in the audience today, and I think we've got some online. I saw Tyler Sordelay was online there too.
Scott is.
And Scott's on there. I fully expected Scott to be out on the campaign trail right now, but I just want to let you know that while you were in our house, you kept us young. Okay? You fill our home with life. You were role models, teachers for our children. But I do have to admit that you started to make us feel a little bit old. Okay? You guys move forward. We're getting promoted, commander and captain, all these other different careers. Some of you actually retiring and moving on to other areas in your career. but you've always been a very special part in our family, and I thank you from the depths of my heart for including us in your lives, so thank you very much. Thanks to my colleagues from the Defense Nuclear Facilities Safety Board that joined us today. I think my time working there with you was great, and I really think we made a significant impact on some fundamental programs that are now embedded in the department's safety culture, or the department's culture in general. I really wish I could say dealing with the board from this side of the mall was as good as it was when I was on the other side of the mall, but I can't say that. A little inside baseball joke there for one of my defense board friends. So thank you for coming, I appreciate it. In my position, I've been fortunate enough to work with incredible DOE and contractor professionals across the entire complex in all programs, headquarters and at the sites, and many of you who are here today or online. And I wanted to thank you for making my time while I was here at the Department of Energy so rewarding. And to my office, first we started out as AU, again, as Todd was talking about, the acronyms, now Environment, Health, Safety, and Security. It's been quite a ride. We had kind of a two-part goal in mind when we were establishing the organization. First, we wanted to be recognized as the ultimate organization of professionals in environment, health, safety, and security in the government. And second, we wanted to make our organization a great place to work and where others also wanted to work. And I think that we have accomplished that. We have become truly, and you have become through your hard work, the gold standard for organizations within the department. Hasn't always been easy, but we've always successfully met all challenges that have been thrown at us. I would really be remiss if I didn't add another special thanks to Cecilia Kenny. She has done more to make our organization, and more importantly, to make me look good over the years. And we've been together almost since the beginning of the organization. Cecilia, I'll never be able to express how much your advice, counsel, and friendship have meant to me over all these years. For those of you who have heard me talk other times, you know the value that I place on service to our country. All but 3 of my years have been either in the military or civil service, including 20 years in the senior executive service. It's an honorable and rewarding profession where you can impact many people's lives. However, it doesn't come without sacrifice, both for you and more importantly, for your family and for your loved ones. I was fortunate that I met someone when we were 16 at a football game at my little rural high school in Ohio. You can kind of imagine Friday night lights in Ohio. I don't even know if it rose to that level since it was Texas. But she also believed in the importance and value of serving our country. We've been together ever since, 46 years. When I was deployed on submarines, she kept our family going. When I was doubting my career choice and saying I was getting out of the Navy Reserves, I was going to leave public service, she was always the one that encouraged me to continue. I would not have spent 30 years in the Navy and Navy Reserves or had this long career if it were not for my wife, Jan. She was always incredibly proud of me. Thank you, and I love you.
Julie's card.
Sorry. Gift giving time. So people ask me, hey, what are you gonna do when you retire? I've heard that a lot, right? And as the saying goes, a husband's retirement is a wife's full-time job. Seriously, I hope to work off her honeydew list, which has turned into a honeydew book. Spend some time on the bay with a fishing rod in my hand. I didn't say catching fish, because I'm really not a very good fisherman. I leave that up to my grandson Matty, who is tells us repeatedly that he is the master fisherman, and that we have some evidence that is actually the case. I'm gonna spend some more time with the grandkids. I've called them rare earth magnets in the past, and it is true, they do suck you into their lives. And I'm gonna enjoy not carrying 2 phones around with me all the time, and treating every day like Saturday. So, I failed earlier to recognize a very special person that's online, and that's my roommate Andy York from the Naval Academy. We spent 4 years going through that place on the Severn, and his friendship over 40 years has been just something I cherish forever, so thanks, Andy. And with that, as Todd noted, I wanted to make this as informal as possible, not the pomp and circumstances that those of you who joined John when he was retiring experienced. But please take the time to say hello and meet new friends while you're here. And again, thank you very much for joining us both online and here in person. So thank you very much.
Matt mentioned gifts and we presented him with the HSS coin. We also have moved something else that we hope will be fitting for his plans into retirement. And so first of all,
You didn't say that. I put one of these aside to make sure that we didn't give them away, you know, so I get one when I retire.
it's the last one.
Whoa!
There's a new rod. Can only imagine what that might be.
Wow.
Watch just wouldn't have cut it. Right?
Yeah, this will be great. I'll be putting bait on this, you know. Like I said, I'm not sure how much I'll catch. But, man, oh wow, new fishing reel. You guys know what I'm gonna be doing. There's a case of beer back here too.
Now, I know that a few folks specifically had remarks, and again, before we open it up to the broader audience, I did want to invite Rich Tonsicanato and Don Owen from Matt's Defense Nuclear Facility Safety Board history, who have a letter they would like to read and a little something that we would like to do.
Great.
Yeah, Matt is wondering what the DNFSB is up to by picking me to read this letter. The results of being microphones are often unpredictable.
Well, I was gonna say, oh no, another letter from the defense board.
Oh, okay. Well, I will have you know, Matt and I worked together for years at the DNFSB. We were both fairly junior staffers there together. We were both SES people there together. So I've seen him have to do everything from, you know, planning trips and working out flights for himself to when he had his first sort of subordinate, a technical intern that he was dealing with, how do I tell her, no, we're not gonna pay for her yoga classes? And obviously, we were very sad to see him go to the DOE when he did, but we also were very happy because we knew he would make a tremendous impact on safety across the complex, and he has. So the board wanted to commemorate his service to the country again. We pride ourselves in saying a lot with few words and in using active voice. So this survived my editing. So, dear Mr. Mowry, the Defense Nuclear Facilities Safety Board congratulates you on your retirement from the Department of Energy, parentheses DOE. Your dedicated service to the United States has spanned 44 years, including as a U.S. Naval Academy midshipman, a nuclear-trained submarine officer, a senior engineer and executive at the board, and a senior executive with DOE. You applied your wealth of experience and expertise to make invaluable contributions to safety at defense nuclear facilities and other hazardous facilities in the DOE complex, with the board from 1992 to 2011 and subsequently with DOE. The board commends your service and recognizes the significant impact your contributions have made to the safety of DOE operations over the past 30 years. The board expresses its gratitude for your lifelong dedication to the safety and security of our country and wishes you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Sincerely, Joyce Connery, Chair. And it has an official embossed seal, which I've actually never seen before. That signature. Thank you. And I yield the floor to Mr. John Owen for something a little less formal.
A little less formal. Well, Matt, I see, whoops. I see a fishing rod as a token of something you might do, and Mr. Dan Burnfield, a former board staff member who retired about 5-6 years ago, but worked with you for your 20 years on the board, has provided a gift. And I'll just start with or just introduce it with a quick story. Dan Burnfield said the two most memorable golf shots that he has ever been involved with on a golf course. One was his shot. There was a challenging par 4 dog leg, and you guys were at a golf course near Cincinnati. There was a dog leg, and Dan perfectly planned either his hook or slice, I forget which, to get around a good bit of the dog leg. That was his number one most memorable shot as a golfer. The second most memorable shot was when you came up to tee off right after that shot and looked at the tree, the very tall tree demarking the golf leg, and proceeded to drive it straight over the tree, 50 yards in front of Dan's most memorable shot. And so, as a token of his appreciation, and really with the sentiment of the board staff, we have this gift. And it is meant to be opened. I have, you will see the seam, so I will just hold it while you open the box. No, you don't need to tear this. Yes. Yep, feel free to pull it all out.
Ooh, very nice.
And so, from Dan's custom golf club business post-retirement is a driver for you that we hope you can employ.
Wow, that's nice.
And that's it.
For those who know anything about golf, Dan has his own company where he builds golf clubs. And for those of you who follow the PGA Tour, you may know of Bryson DeChambeau, who has kind of converted to same length golf clubs, and Dan is specializing in same length golf clubs. And pretty exciting field that he's getting into. So Dan was a great friend, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It's really great.
And with that, that is the end of any kind of formal presentation. By all means, if folks would like to say a few words, you're welcome to come up. The mic is yours. I think John may have something you want to say, Admiral?
Yeah, absolutely.
Please. Admiral John Richardson, thank you.
Well, hello, everybody. I have no prepared remarks, but I think as I just put some thoughts together, I probably can get through this in 45 minutes or so. I'll tell you, Matt and Dana and I go back, and we knew Matt and Jan like at the very beginning, before children, before grandchildren, before everything. And when we graduated from the Naval Academy, we all kind of went off to spend some time until our nuclear power school class started. We all did, fun adventures during that time. And I even got a couple offers, like, hey, would you like to do this? I was like, nah, Admiral Rickover has a different plan for me. And so we all first got together in Connecticut, right? So we're going through our submarine basic education. How does a submarine submerge and surface again and all those sorts of things. And, all these brand newly married couples crashed into Groton, Connecticut. And it was winter was just starting, I think, if I remember. We all sort of got this ad hoc community out. We all rented these places for the 3-month school out on Groton Long Point. And if you've ever been up in that neck of the woods, it's this little summer community. And, we all kind of looked at each other, it's like, how do they know, like, to the penny exactly what our rent allowance is? And that's exactly what our rent is. Like, you're not the first class to come through here. And then, of course, it was extraordinarily high rent for a place in the winter in Connecticut, which had zero insulation or wintering. The wind would blow through those things like crazy. So that's where we got our start, and then we all went off to our nuclear power school class and our submarines and all of that. I think that, the other thing Matt mentioned, we're classmates at the Naval Academy in 1982. And, part of Matt's ethic of service, which I think is really something that came through very, very nicely and clearly here, kept our class together. Our class would be in shambles if it wasn't for Matt and Jan, just kind of rising to whatever governance role, whether it's, I think every single role you play, president, vice president, treasurer, whatever it might be, Matt would just rise and take that spot and keep the class together, which is challenging for a Naval Academy class because we're all over the day and we're all moving every 2 years, etc. And then, it's fitting, I think, that you and Jan met on the sidelines of a football game, because that's, I think, where we've run into each other more often than not. Matt would work the down markers at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium for all the home Navy games, and so we would meet there for often as we attended games together. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of insight. The thing that really sticks with a lifetime of living with Matt is that Matt and Jan just are completely authentic people, right? I mean, what you see when you are with Matt and Jan is you see just how deeply that ethic goes. Even in his remarks today, where he's got every right to sort of brag a little bit and dispense advice and all of that. He had nothing to say but thank you to everybody else who helped him along the way. And I think that that's very, very characteristic of your life of service and your humility. So I just wanted to come up from class of 1982. By the way, this Naval Reactors gig is a dual-hatted job, right? I mean, there was a Department of Energy hat, and there's a Department of the Navy hat. And I definitely chose the wrong retirement. I retired in the Department of the Navy. I got a plaque, and I got a certificate. You got all this great gear here. I'm retired over here. I'll have to talk to Secretary Moniz about that. But anyway, Matt, thanks for your lifetime of dedicated service, Jan, both of you. And from the class of 1982, and just as a super good friend. Thank you for everything. All right, thanks.
So for those who may not know who I am, I'm John Bolden. I'm Todd's counterpart inside Matt's front office in EHSS, and I've got all the security pieces. I don't feel like I ought to be saying as many thank yous to Matt as everyone else, because I've really not known Matt that long. But I will tell you, the last 3 years,
I'm getting a feedback here. I'm hearing myself speak.
We are too.
the last 3 years, though, I've worked directly with Matt on a day-to-day basis, and it has been the best experience of my entire time in the department. As many of you here have noted, and John, by the way, hi. John and I were COs together in Pearl. It's been a while. As many of you have noticed, I've mentioned that you guys are Naval Academy graduates, guys or gals. Matt and I share that same alumni feature. I will tell you, though, that your class was my plebes. So just remember that when it comes time to think about us in the future. Anyway, I was trying to think what I might give Matt as a going-away gift as a matter of thanks, and I was remembering plebe year. For those of you who've been through that, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're a plebe, you're responsible to make sure the upperclassmen get out to formation, and all those things go right. And consequently, in Bancroft Hall, and I don't know if it's this way today, but all of the clocks, all the analog clocks were synced perfectly to the second, right? We didn't have GPS, we didn't have LEDs, but every clock ticked perfectly to the second, because before every meal, the plebes had to get out in the hallways and do something called chow call. And we would tell the upperclassmen, you've got 5 minutes till noon formation. And we'd have to run through things like what's on the menu, what are the movies in town, how many days till Army, Navy, how many days till graduation. And you would count down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at the 1 minute, you would say, it's now 1 minute till noon meal formation, time tide formation waits for no man, and off you'd go, and everybody would have to get in line. So I was thinking about that shared experience, even though it was years apart, and I was thinking about how Matt's day for the last 3 years that I've been watching him has gone. And it is a non-stop calendar exercise, minute by minute, hour by hour. Matt is always on the hook to get to the next meeting, to get on the next call, to handle the next problem. And we've mentioned Cecilia a couple times today. I cannot tell you how many times Cecilia would lean her head out of the office and say, Matt, don't forget, you got a call in 1 minute. Or Matt, don't forget, you got to put your coat on and go upstairs and see the secretary. So I thought, well, maybe I could get Matt something that would help him maintain that sense of time. Right? Because he's going to walk away from his Outlook calendar. He's not going to have Cecilia across the hall. He's not going to have analog clocks or chow call. So I thought maybe I could get Matt something that would help him in his new role in retirement. So I've got something that resembles an analog clock. And I'm going to try to describe it because you probably can't see it. It's called the whatever clock. And all the numbers are down here at the bottom. So now whenever Matt wakes up or wants to do something, he goes, I wonder what time it is. Oh, whatever. I don't have anything to do. I don't have to be anything. So I hope you really do relax it. Thanks.
One of those Air Force guys.
You know it.
Hey, Mike.
I'm on your side.
You're on my side?
My daddy was there.
And that's all that counts. The boss and I used to be his deputy. I was right before John as one of his deputies. Sir, thank you. Thank you for hiring me. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you for believing in me. And more importantly, where's Cecilia? Is Cecilia in the room? I need you to come up, Cecilia. I need you to come up. I'm sorry, folks, I'm Gerald Curry. I was one of Matt's deputies for about 2 years. And when I was in the seat as deputy, we had to write a blog every Friday summarizing the deputy's activities. And so between Cecilia and Matt, she bled all over me, before I could publish it. Come on up, but I got a coin for you just to say thank you. I'm currently the, thank you so much.
Good job.
Currently, I serve as the director for the Air Force Review Board Agency. It's like the Supreme Court for the Air Force, and we got a team of lawyers, team of doctors, and we adjudicate cases for the Air Force, about 5,000 per year. But none of that would have happened if it wasn't for Matt Maurer. And that's to give me an opportunity when no one else would. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about diversity and things of that nature. This guy believed in me during the interview process. He looked at my transcript and said, Curry, back in 1980, 79, 80, you had a D in this particular class. What in the heck was that all about? And I said, I was probably chasing some girl, sir. I'm sorry. But sir, I know that you and I are kindred spirits to some degree. I also have a little card note. But more importantly, I do a lot of international travel now. I got you a box of Cubans, you know, for your walks with the dogs. And I just want to say thank you for all that you have done, and to you too as well. I'm actually going to give it to your grandson. And say thank you for all that you've done, sir. All right.
I got a barnacle here.
Article, a trained one, who knows how to take a coin.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Hi everyone, my name is Mike Hammer. I've been with this organization for over 20 years. And earlier I represented the EEWG. We presented Mr. Maurer with a gift.
Acronym, EEWG as well.
The Employee Engagement Working Group, where Matt stood up an organization of employees who work together to let Matt know what the issues are with the organization, to be candid with him, and let him know what he could do to help us. I've just been compelled to stand up here again in front of all of you and say what's in my heart. I'm just Mike Hammer right now. I'm not the chair of the Employee Engagement Working Group, but I've been with this organization for 20 years. One thing I told Matt before an EEWG, I said, my favorite saying is, some people make this organization better by coming, and some people make it better by leaving. Now, I know you all are taking a big, deep breath right now. Matt Maurer, God is my witness, you made this organization so much better by coming that I don't even know what half of us are going to do when you leave. And I want to echo what Sarah Harper said, sir, don't leave. That's just the best thing I've ever heard. I'm going to let that soak in for a minute. Sir, don't leave. Okay, I know you're still going to leave. I just want to say this on behalf of, and I'm not speaking for all, maybe not speaking for all the workers, but I want to speak for the workers, the people who have worked for this organization, seen it get better. I know that an admirable admiral has spoken here today. Many directors, many great leaders. But on behalf of the people who work and do the job, sir, thank you. You made our lives better, period.
Yeah.
My hero.
Well, sorry, Matt, I didn't get the memo on the suits for the.
We know you guys know what suits anyway.
I'm Jim Malgren. I made the break from the nuclear part of DOE back around 20 years ago. I work in EERE, which the RE stands for renewable energy, so I'm in wind energy. And so I just wanted to say a couple things about Matt you may not be familiar with, or you may be. First of all, the vision of Dan Burnfield playing golf is really kind of stuck in my head. But you know, Matt is a tremendous athlete, and I met him back in 1978 when we were both trying out for the Navy golf team, and Matt was one of the guys that would play with me. He was kind of my normal group, and you know, if he gets up there and swings, even if he hasn't played for a number of years, he's like Jack Nicklaus. And that's kind of a dated, I know I shouldn't, you know, it's not Tiger Woods, but every muscle in his body moves and gets the most out of every swing. It's for those people who have been crying today. When you see Matt hit a golf ball, it'll bring tears. It'll bring tears to your eyes. But so not only, so I was glad to see the golf club. You didn't mention that as one of your retirement pastimes, but that will be my job, is to continue to hound you to get out to the golf course. But he also, so somewhere along the line, I decided, well, I can't beat him in golf. I'll challenge him in basketball. And so here he is. I'm taller than Matt, thinking, okay, I got the advantage. The guy doesn't miss a shot. So he's hitting from outside. I try to guard him a little bit closer. He drives around me, unstoppable. So then we have our reserve trip to Germany, and we have the weekend off. We head to Garmisch, where the Olympics were held in the 1930s. And of course, Matt puts his skis on, perfectly parallel skis all the way down the slope. So I just want to issue a warning for all of you who are thinking about challenging Matt in a game of shuffleboard in his retirement. I don't recommend it. So congratulations, Matt. And John Richardson, how is it you don't have any gray hair and you're that's amazing. You look good. You look good. So Matt, congratulations.
Hi, everybody.
Hi there.
I normally don't get up and say things.
Yes, you
But yes, I do. I'm Tracy Berry. I worked with Matt for a long time. I don't look it. And I just want to say Matt is one of the coolest. He's the coolest leaders, manager, supervisor, whatever his title is this week, for people that I've ever met. He's a great guy, he's a great person, he's respectful, and one thing about Matt, he's true to his word. So we came up, I don't even, was it Cecilia who came up with Ask Matt cards one year? So Matt opened up his doors, opened up his office, ask me anything, he said. Just write it on this card. So I host a workshop every year in Nevada. And I brought out the cards, whole stack of them. And I told the whole group, hey, ask him anything. This is Matt. You can ask for money, ask for clothes, ask for anything. And you write it here. If you don't like me, you don't like my group, ask Matt to move us. You can do it. And every year I brought out this stack of cards. And I know it drove him crazy. Because after those workshops, he'd come to my office and put those cards on my desk. After he read them, now you make this stuff happen. But the best part about the workshop is I used to have to introduce Matt. And when I first got his biography, I looked at it, and nobody wants to really read those things, I said, I can't even pronounce some of the degrees and awards that he has, and I had to read this in front of all of these people. So when I got to that part, I used to make him look like a superstar. With all of his accolades and everything, I used to love it. So I'm gonna miss that, Matt. I'm gonna miss that yearly trip. But most importantly, I'm gonna miss the fact that I had to sit next to Matt. All those workshops, I had to sit right next to him. And now you can sit next to him, I can't nod off. I gotta pay attention. I gotta take notes, right? So I used to bring candy. I would eat the candy so I could stay up and be alert. But Matt started eating my candy. I look over and he putting on my candy. So Matt, I bought you, really your grandchildren, to say thank you. You have your own candy. I'm going to miss you. But I thank you for everything you did for me in my office. I thank you for listening to me when I pouted. Sometimes I cried, but he was there for me. And guess what? I knew he cared, and I appreciate that. So you can have Matt back. Feed him candy, he'll stay awake and listen to you. But most of all, looking at all his friends and colleagues and some nice people I just met and been rubbing elbows with, he must have always been a genuine, nice guy. So I thank you, Matt, and I'm gonna miss you.
I'm Kaylin, I'm Matt's daughter. I want to thank all of you for working with him, and I know you know how great he is, but I don't think you guys know just how great he is. He is the best dad, the grandfather anybody could ask for. But my dad really truly believes in this safety mentality, and it's not just here at work. So I had a funny story to tell you because I am not an engineer. I don't think about any of this stuff. I am a veterinarian for racehorses. So when I first graduated, my dad was kind of like, oh, you gotta be careful. I gotta make sure you don't get kicked. Whatever. And I'm like, Dad, it's okay. So it was like probably my first month of working as a veterinarian, and I was living at home because, you know, I had student loans and we can't afford to do anything. So he came to me with a flow chart about things I needed to think about before I went into the stall with the horse to treat it. Even though Dad has never been on the backside of the racetrack, knows nothing about racehorses, it was like, stop, okay. You know, is my body in the least dangerous place in this stall? And it was literally 10 different steps that I needed to think about before I even did what I needed to do. So my dad's idea of safety and protecting people and instrumenting or installing these plans or implementing them is not just his job. He truly loves and believes it. And I thank you guys for working for him, and more importantly, I thank you for letting him retire because he told us he was going to retire and we didn't really believe him because he loves to work. So I know my children, we live about 2 blocks from my dad, are ecstatic because he will now be even more accessible. Even though you guys worked from home for a while and we were worried that Maddie, who loves to live in just underwear in our house, would, you know, make an appearance in the background of your Zoom calls, but he was able to keep him. So we're all excited to have him retire, and I really thank you guys for you know, supporting him in his passion. So thank you again.
I know those of you who know me will find it hard to believe that I wasn't really going to say anything, but the last 2 speakers inspired me. I'm Nisa Slater-Chandler. I'm from the other nuclear people. I was at the Defense Board, and now I'm at the Nuclear Waste Technical Review Board as the Director of Administration. But before that, I was really Matt's lawyer for quite a while. And to the young lady who spoke about him stealing your candy, well, before that, he stole my eyeglasses. So we would be sitting next to one another in many meetings, and our eyes went right about the same time. So I would make sure I would have color-coordinated cheaters, and so he'd be peeking through, you know, black with little diamonds on the side, or pink cheaters. To both Jan and Matt, I remember the weekend or week that you nursed me through being so terribly ill out at that conference in Las Vegas. You both took such good care of me. I got out there and got terribly sick, and they were just so kind to me. And to your children, I want you to know I went through vet school with you. He was so proud as a Naval Academy graduate. I'm up there with some of you. I actually, in a way, knew Matt as long as many of you because I'm class of '85, and he was on fleet detail. So we figured that out on day 1 of my day at the Defense Board. He was always willing to take me under his wing. I learned how to spell ISM, and have tried to carry that on to other things, and fair winds and following seas.
The incredibly kind words and gifts and everything. So enjoy yourselves.
I know.